Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me this inspiring, very important event. I'm really honored to be here. My name is Meekyung Shin. I'm working in ADB, Asian Development Bank. First, we planned our director, Dr. Brajesh Pant, planned to come here and give the presentation, but he has a minor health problem, certainly, so I came here. I'm trying my best to be a good substitute for him. And this afternoon, I would like to share the importance of higher education and how private sectors can contribute to higher education development and then national building. And I want to share how ADB work with other governments in higher education sector and how we can think about cooperation with the private sector for our future generations. And the first slide is the strategic importance of higher education. So from the government side, we have to decide which sector we will invest. Transport and many areas need money, and we have to get a fund. We have to get a lot of budget to the education sector. We work together, and then if the money allocated to the education, we need to do another competition. Yeah, we still always need the money for high elementary school and secondary school and higher education. So still there are some controversies. Do we need to invest in higher education? We still have a weak foundational skill. So there is we have a strong rationale why we invest the higher education, but fortunately, these days successful industries are always linked with a very strong higher education sector. So they invested a lot research and education. So in many DMC countries in Asia Pacific starting to invest the budget to higher education part, and the number of Asian development project is increasing also. And higher education institutes have played a vital role in the research to prepare highly skilled workforce and supporting research and development of new technologies. But as well as the innovation in the society, we need the equitable. We need a more sustainable and equitable society to give the opportunity for everybody who is eligible. So that function can only education and social sector can address the situation. So from education sector, we always think about if the education opportunities are equitably distributed and most of the students are receive the benefit from receive the benefit the school organization, school system. So and school equity issue, and then these days entrepreneurship is very important also. So until mostly students are regarded as learners and then enter to the university, and these days the young generations making their own companies and then making new jobs in new economies. So we are trying to expand the higher that function can only the higher education level can contribute better. So we are expanding the role of higher education sector. To do this goal, especially the countries who have a restricted resource, it's better to involve the private sector who has expertise and the resources to expand the access, expand the education access, and then even improve the quality. We don't know, we cannot say that only the government and the public sector can do better jobs. So some parts that public sectors can do better. So we need to operate all the resources in the country to provide the more education access and improve the quality. Yesterday, the PHINMA Foundation invited our speakers to have a dinner and make us feel free, and more comfortable. And I strongly advise that, you should include some components to learn from Korea. And then we should include you should recommend the the 5 Korean drama, famous drama, and then cosmetic. And yes, and Koreans are doing well, that part, but especially private education, support for private education, and how to work with the private sector. I think Korea is doing well, and unfortunately, they are always criticized. Why they're always criticized, and then Ministry of Educations are not that popular. But I think objectively speaking, they have a good performance and very good organized system. So I want to share also Korean experience. Yes. And the second, yeah, and now I will share the issues in higher education innovations to remind our conversation, remind our issues. The next slide. Preparing this presentation, I researched about the Philippine higher education background, and then this Philippines is a very potential country. It's the 3rd largest economy in Southeast Asia and 34th largest economy in the world, and then that's 12th largest in Asia. So, and Philippines ranked hopefully very affirmatively. Philippines is ranked 51st of 132 economies in the Global Innovation Index 2012 first. It is a significant jump from the 90% position in the decade ago. And Philippines is recognized as a key leader in certain innovation indicators, in especially global high-tech export and knowledge and technology output and business sophistication. And experts think that innovation ecosystem in Philippines is relatively young, but it is generally well organized. So successful model is replicated in different universities and cooperated nationally. So in this project, some very high quality private universities and public universities have contributed to the improvement of government innovation index through focusing on high quality research publication and entrepreneurship courses and startup incubators. Next page. So, and private education's contribution for Philippine education, first of all, they expanded the access. Around 80% of tertiary education students are attending private tertiary education institute in Philippines. And I've heard that the number is a little bit decreasing and the portion is decreasing, but significant students are attending private schools, so government needs to pay attention how they teach and what kind of quality education are provided to him. And if a student doesn't have any difficulty in financially and personally. And the employability rate was similar with the public universities, almost 89, but actually that data is a little bit outdated. these days, graduate employment rate is really important. So how the employment rate can be changed depends on the university's attention, university's support for students. So in case of Korea, government decide that the employment rate of graduate is really very important index to decide the budget to the university, regardless of public or private university. So, but relatively, the employment rate is high. And innovation in research among the 10 universities based on the THE ranking, 4 universities are private university, and citation number is increasing. So I think within these 6 years, the citation number is doubled in the Philippines. So, and entrepreneurship, the startup incubators projects in university produced many notable startups. It's not many, but in some universities, in case of the La Salle University, they produced and they supported making the pronounced startups. So now that we are thinking the important issues in higher education, in the education area, these days we are more encouraging the multidisciplinary studies instead of the separated subject, separated discipline, because the society's problems we need to address is complicated. All the problems are mixed, like climate change and many other issues cannot address with one discipline. So from the university, we can teach them a more convergent way. So many well-advanced universities are making interdisciplinary studies. So tertiary education institutions need to become far more agile in building courses across discipline and developing appropriate credentials. So these days, especially climate technology, we call it climate technology, and that climate technology area, so many interdisciplinary approaches are used, and it's earth science, social science, and engineering, humanity, and business studies. All the disciplines are combined, and then students learn with a very actual problem-solving approach. Second, and the second important issue is university industry cooperation. I think PHINMA is very strong in the university and industry cooperation. So, as you know, the AstraZeneca vaccine was known that co-developed by the AstraZeneca firm and Oxford University. So it garnered many countries' attention on why they have to invest the university and industry cooperation. So nations are trying to form the collaborative structure between universities and industries. University and industry cooperation can happen in various areas. We can make a curriculum and education, so industry relevant education. We can change the curriculum continuously, based on the industry demand, and we can research collaboratively with the industry, and we can assist the local businesses who doesn't have a experimental facility kind of thing. So actually the collaborative research usually they had not collaborate much because companies are concerned about their confidential of the technology, but the university staffs are interested in the writing paper. So, but these days, the other parts realize that they can, when they work together, it has a win-win effect. So, and also government has increased the financing for the joint industry research initiatives. So the number of publications, co-authors, but industry person and university staffs are increasing. So to assist student employment, colleges are improved their interaction with enterprise by enhancing curricula to meet industry demands and increase field internship. So many university program has an internship program to 1 semester or 1 or 2 months, and it helps to get a job when they finish, when they go out to the society. And as well as the University Industry Cooperation, the entrepreneurship and startup incubating function is very important also. So they are preparing students innovative working environments and then helping them acquire entrepreneur abilities. I met a female CEO today, and she was invited many times in our webinar and an event. So the young generation who trained have a passionate and then skill can make a very good startups and then produce the jobs and using the digital technology or new technology more proactively. So, if a student can be trained a little bit more at the university and then tried in student period, can be more easier to get an idea and then survive in their society. So in 10 years ago, still Korea was parents and students are concerned and not nearly, oh, is it okay? Isn't it too risky to run my business instead of going to Samsung or at Hyundai? But right now, it's the support from the government and the support from the university has been changed. The very smart students want to be a startup CEO, so they produce the very high value the technology and then they adapt to the new trend. And one of the important things is that they are very open to the international market. They collaborated with other countries' startup CEOs, so that their synergy is really high and potential is very high. Then I will comment about the qualitative research. Many technological innovations are. Okay, next slide. Okay, yes, and then another very important topic in higher education is diversification and autonomy. So every country needs a very qualitative research university, but not all university must be research oriented. Yeah. Just a moment. So based on the strengths of the universities, some university can be developed research-oriented, but some universities education, some universities vocational training, and then they strategically invest in that area and get the reputation. So in some universities doesn't have a high ranking, but they have a reputation that our graduates get the job 100%, 90% of graduates are getting job. It's a very good, very good reason to choose that university. So, vital burden information. Then to recognize that very strong, small but strong universities, we need more public information to announce that these universities have very quality. Very high quality education. So it is vital to broaden the public information on education quality of each universities. In case, for example, employment rate and the student and teacher ratio, and then the collaboration, industry collaboration, collaborative industry numbers kind of thing. So that kind of public information, if we have that kind of public information, the individual colleges can build their reputation in that direction, and then they can give more education chances to students. But for the university, we expect university to diversify by their own strengths, we need definitely autonomy. University need to decide by the very important decision. So expanding the autonomy of universities is really big issues, especially in the Southeast Asia. So many the categories are decided by the government. It takes time, takes long, and it is not fit for some circumstances. So in other countries, Korea has a kind of committee. We received all the demand from the university, what they are stuck and what they want to change, and then if they public Ministry of Education staffs are evaluated, reviewed all their demands, and then they have to change. They were pushed to change it and then developed. So you need to if we want universities to improve and more competitive, the need for autonomy is very crucial. So we definitely need to ask the government and share the good examples. The next slide. Qualitative research, and then in case of qualitative research, is one of the reasons why we have to invest the higher education. So many. Okay. The middle income, if we compare with the middle income countries, and then the middle income countries graduated to high income countries invest 3 times more than the staying in the middle income trap. So, and they are 4 times more than patent application. So in case of the research, higher education needs to be an important, crucial part of that, part of the research institute. So. I mentioned about the research function is not that all the universities, but in generally higher education development, we need to invest strategically to the high quality research. Next slide. Then I want to finish the equitable expansion issues. So as well as the innovation, the equitable expansion is very important, as you know, and PHINMA has a very high contribution on this issue in Philippine education. So in case, but based on the data, compared with the 1999 and 2014, the current reaches the 20% of household students were increasing from 79 and 84.7%, 2014. So more attention for the support for higher low-income family students, attending student is very important. In case of South Korea's higher education enrollment rate is 80%, and 80% of the higher education is run by private. And so even though it is a private education, students get a scholarship from the government, and they can use the income contingent role. So many the working experience provided by universities and government, so they can manage the students' higher education opportunities. So through that government attention, the enrollment of college students from low-income and middle-income countries are significantly increased in 1990. But right now, we experienced also the many experience the criticism the higher education has not done well before the school, social mobility. So, but anyway, the education opportunity, in case of education opportunity, they can study in the university without financial difficulty. Then it's time almost done. So the examples of higher education projects is supported by ADB. The next slide. As I mentioned, the number of higher education projects and then the portion of higher education projects increased. But unfortunately, especially Indonesia, Bangladesh, Vietnam, they have a lot of higher education projects, but unfortunately, Philippines, we don't have yet. So more governments, more pay attention to the higher education can be needed, I think. The next page. Our project is mostly increasing the access and establishing new universities or interdisciplinary departments to promote STEM and strengthening research capability and fostering industry-academic cooperation and enhancing overall university innovation. Mostly these topics I shared before. Our project portfolio is focused on these issues. Next slide. As for the private sector's role in improving access, as well as the World Bank and ADB ADB, we know that the many DMC countries face two challenges. We have to expanding education opportunities, and we have to improve the quality of education. So in that two very big topic, I think we need to cooperate with the private sector, and so as much as possible, it's important to maximize educational opportunity with the resource available. So various type of level PPPs, from the facility establishment and then school management to the school management, a lot of cooperation methodology and types are researched and implemented in many countries. So we can find the good solution in the Philippine environment. And then, but we know that many people are concerned about how about the accountability of the education. So to get the response, to get the support, to get the financial support or administrative support from government, government need to more equitable mechanism or reasonable mechanism too also. Yes, that's the content I want to share, and during the Q&A session, I want to share more topics and then your questions. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you.